calling this Fool Me Twice, because twice in a row the same trick. Looks like it's going to be a classical boring game, but then out comes the Wayward Queen. And I'd just actually been stung by a game with the Wayward Queen, where I brought the two middle pawns out, bishops out to protect them, and I lost a rook straight away. I had to resign, so I was going to just do the Wayward Queen properly. Bring out knights. Knights are always better against the Wayward Queen. And he's going straight for a Scholar's Mate. These threats must be defended against, and I decided to choose this method of defending. You could also defend with the Queen, but I kind of like this because it's a bit off the wall. People aren't really used to it. And then we've got this coming down here, bringing extra fire. In fact, his knight was en prise there, and I didn't see it.
Kinside castling.
Castled instead, which is worth a lot. And then advanced my knight, obviously with the usual threat of the knight takes pawn with check and wins the rook for a knight. Okay, so now his knight's no longer en prise now that he's advanced those pawns. Now I just decided I'm going to push this bishop up because it'll disrupt the pawn structure of things, and I'm going to have a strong attack on the king side no matter what, so I might as well try and disrupt the pawns on the queen side, because it's quite possible he's going to think that the queen side is the safe bet for castling, and he's going to be wrong, especially after he's had to move these pawns. And just to disrupt things further, I just push some pawns towards his bishop. I don't mind exchanging if it disrupts his pawns. In fact, an alternative would have been this. I'd have ended up with two pieces under attack, but he would have find it hard to castle then. He'd have had to have castled kingside. But I wasn't after him castling kingside, just chasing things down. And then we're both retreating. Now he goes for the knight, and that's fine because that opens up my rook file. I like this. I always like this. He grabs this knight, and now I've got my laser there, all armed and ready, firing up, so he's going to have trouble castling queenside there. Queen comes down to attack. Well, I don't know what exactly. Puts herself in line with that white bishop. Not a good idea, really. So I kick her a little bit with this. Suppose I could have next done something like this, but that would have been probably rather foolish. So there's no way of really kicking him further. I have to now watch my bishop that he's attacking. So over to here was the logical move. Also with the threat of taking that pawn, preventing him from castling. But a slightly risky affair if I do that, because if he does castle before I do it, my queen's potentially under attack from his rook. So I was kind of glad that he did this, hemming in his own queen a bit further. I didn't go for chasing the queen. Or did I? Yes, I did. So now out comes the knight, and yeah, he's trying to castle queenside because that knight is on a terrible square, actually. My pawns are really not letting that knight do anything. So let's bring the attack back down towards the queen side. The queen comes here now. Almost could have had her trapped with this. Oh no, I would have had her trapped. I'd have won the queen with that. Didn't see that. Anyway, I went for chasing this. Well, it's not really it's not that I'm chasing, it's not that I want the bishop, it's just that I want to disrupt the pawns. And this again, trying to get these doubled pawns back into single pawns on my
Queenside
side.
castling.
He doesn't go for that, obviously it helps him. And I move the bishop to this square. So he takes the pawn now, and I recapture, so I've got my pawn structure back. Rook comes to here, and I defend. And now, I did a slightly unusual move. Some people might have just taken that. Instead, just prepared to take it with the rook. And now he tries his kingside advance, but his artillery is not really very well focused on my king. And instead of waiting for him to capture the pawn, just captured it myself, because I thought, is he going to see that bishop? In fact, my idea was that it was worth him taking the bishop for this. You know? What can he do? I was prepared to have that
Check.
as an outcome. You know? Something like that.
Check.
But anyways, and then carrying on with, but it didn't happen.
Check.
He just missed it, and I won the queen. Now, he tries to double his rooks, because obviously my queen and king are in line with each other. First thing to do is pin that knight. Doubles his rooks, so simply add a rook to my own rear rank. That's not a problem. I've got a weak pawn there. I do have a weak pawn on the c-file. He's not worried about that though.
Check.
So check here. And I thought, dare I do it again? Surely he's not going to get caught by the same trick twice. This bishop uncovered against his rook, and he was. Bang. And he resigned. So, Fool Me Twice is the name of this game.